G'day. In this video, or it's going to be a series of videos I'll have to put together. Anyway, let me start again. G'day. In this episode of the TRD channel, I'm going to try to install this cold air intake system that I've bought off eBay for $95 including shipping. It was only like $50 American plus $40 shipping. Into my ZZT Celica. That's the short ram intake, hot air intake system that was originally with the car, which was an expensive brand called WPNR, Racin /r.com. And there's another sticker it came with. And all the parts it came with are quite high quality, so I might be actually using some of the parts, especially like the clamps from it, on the new system, because the new system's like budget and basically a copy of like K&N/AEM cold air intake systems. Yeah, I've got a few extra parts. These are parts here that came in the box. I didn't do an unboxing on camera, but yeah. So those are all the clamps you get. Kind of cheap ones. You get nicer ones with this weapon thing, so I'm going to reuse them if they're the same size maybe. The weapon one also has some adapters and my MAF is on it, my filter, air sensor. It was in a box anyway. You can see that the filter's dirty, so at least the car will have a clean filter and be sucking in cold air when the engine gets hot still. But I've got one problem. I don't really know where this is supposed to go, what it's supposed to connect to. On that system, as you can see, the person had just cut it off, so they kind of didn't do it properly, which basically leaves me in the predicament of trying to figure out where that cable's supposed to go. Or it's not a cable, that air hose. I've downloaded the instructions for the AEM system. Okay, so I have spent a little bit of time. This is how far I've gotten so far. Using the original weapon things, clamps there, because that was better. I've got this, whatever it does, I don't know. If someone, I know what it's called, something. I've got the instructions for the other one, and I'm not sure if this is supposed to connect to that. I think maybe it is, but I am missing one of the sensors, I've realised now. So it's just missing with the car. That plugs into something, and hoses plug into whatever that plugs into, and so that part of my car is missing. I don't know if that maybe goes. Alright, so I've installed it now. I've tightened it all up, and there's no thing for that. What's it called again? The VSVCCV is not used on non-US models, so this is just like a breather pipe. I'm going to change the way that's set up though and secure it better. Yeah, I've tightened all the connections, all the sensors, and the car works. So just hang on a second. Alright, now we'll start it up. So it actually starts up quicker and better than it was before. It was hesitating to start before. Put the old pod. Okay, I've added like 5 more cable ties and taped up the end, so absolutely 100% airtight. And then I squeezed it into this little spot in between the two, and then I cable tied it there so it can't move, and it loops around there, and it's all very solid. So it's a little breather tube, that's what I'm calling it. And yeah, so I still haven't put the rest of the car together, but I thought I'd add a little bit of video about the tiny bit thing I changed before, yeah, I finish. Okay, give that a test. I'll let you know if it's any different. Okay, sorry, I keep running out of batteries. Anyway, let's rev it so you can hear it. So you can hear the sound coming from the pod filter. Makes a funny noise, recoil noise or something, I don't know. So maybe is that because of this? I don't know. Or is it just because it's a cheap pod filter? I might have to buy a more expensive pod filter for it, I'm thinking. And also put some mesh there so that it doesn't get dirt directly on it, and fix up the screening. And I've got to reassemble all the bottom plating. But it turns out you don't actually have to take the front bumper off or the front wheel. All I did was jack up the car on both sides, and then I had enough room to get underneath it. As you can see, I've jacked it up on both sides, so that's how I had enough room to get underneath and do it all. Haven't test driven it yet because I've got to, and it makes that funny noise when I turn it off, but it was doing that before with the old pod filter setup anyway. So yeah, I'm not really sure. Anyway, I'm not sure if this concludes the video, because I might have another bit to film after I put it all back together and taken it for a test drive and tell you what if it makes any difference to the way the car drives and stuff like that. But yeah, so as you can see, this is what's been happening. I've spent the whole day working on this project. Project Celica Cold Air Intake Edition. Yeah, so it will be really awesome once I'm finished with this. Here's some spare parts, because I used parts from the other one, like I used the clamps and I used that connection there from the WP Weapon 2 thing, WPNR pieces. And yeah, I was spinning out for ages, and I couldn't mount this thing properly, so and I cut that shorter. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, but so now it's sort of stuck in that position. The screw wasn't going, so I used cable ties. Cable ties are extremely JDM. They're not really, they're Australian cable ties probably, but or Chinese or something, but JDM people like to do it. Anyway, also the air thing for the ECU, the cooling system, actually I was able to squeeze it all back original to actually fit, although I do have some different piping that I could have used for that. But obviously the computer gets very hot because it's a powerful computer in this, and it's also right next to the engine, so it needs its own little cooling system just for the ECU. Now, that sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? Anyway, yeah, I did tie this here so it wouldn't, go towards the fan or just fly around, but I could just cap it off here. Now, I haven't got a cap, but I've got some screws. I don't know, they might be too thin. So I've got a pretty big hole on it. Yeah, that's a big hole, so I don't think these screws are the right size to plug that up, but I thought doing it like that would stop the airflow, or hopefully. I don't know, maybe that's what the funny noise is. Anyway, oh well. Original airbox things usually have a little air breather box often, so it's good to have a little bit of air that can flow up and down just in its own space. I don't know, for some reason. So that's why I thought I'd leave that like that for that reason. I might cable tie this along it. Yeah, so I don't know, figure out a way to make that. Which way should it go? Probably like that. There you go, it's not twisting too much now. Yeah, there's a lot of, spent like literally forever just trying to get everything to fit. It was really hard, but because it came in two pieces, I think that actually made it easier to fit and meant that I didn't have to pull the car apart as much as other people might have to. Anyway, I still haven't changed the oil in this car, but I have changed the spark plugs. I haven't done the oil filter yet. I'm still waiting for a magnetic sump plug. That's another video, and I'll talk about that in the next video. Alright, that's the end of this scene. Okay, so I had to cut off a little bit of the fender well plastic guard. Just a tiny bit, only three little bits. I kept trimming it. I trimmed too small, and then I had to trim a little bit bigger to get the pipe through. And now it's sitting in place, as you can see, and the pipe is fitting properly. And everything is amazingly fitting properly, but I did get a lot of scratches on it. I was thinking of painting this thing black, because apparently black pipes stay cooler than silver ones. But I'm glad I didn't, because all the paint would have come off when I was trying to fit it, because it scratched on everything. Alright, this is just a bit of a conclusion. There seems to be little holes in the air intake system around the MAF sensor, and maybe elsewhere. I need to patch those holes up and use some kind of spot welding glue sealant. And the engine's having trouble, like if I rev it above 3000 in first and then go to second, it loses all its power and it's not accelerating quickly. I don't know, I didn't take the battery off when I installed it, so I've taken the battery off now. hoping maybe the ECU needs to reset and be turned off for a few hours. So I'm going to leave it off overnight and try again in the morning. I just thought I'd add this part on the video so I can make a video today. And but yeah, it's 99% complete, but I haven't ironed out the bugs or figured out why I haven't fixed it up to make it work properly. But please drop a comment and let me know what you think regarding cold air intake on the 7th gen ZZT Celica, Project Celica. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share with your friends. Alright, till next time, see ya.